stickers off. What up, people? What up?
Every time.
Oh man, I be jamming to it in the back. Shout out to my man's JT Drummer. My man's he made the beats. He made the beats to all my videos. So I gotta slap them just on every video of mine because they're amazing. And I wish my brother much success. But what up, people? Welcome to the Heroes No Cape podcast. I am the abomination known as AJ, joined by my man's here, Ego. What up, Ego?
What's going on, guys?
What up? What up? All right. This is episode 7
of the
podcast. We did miss last week, possibly the week before that, because we was wanted to come back stronger, kind of rebranded, looking a little bit more evolved. I'm pleased with what we're doing so far. And me and my man's Ego, we having fun. And we look forward to more episodes, more conversations with the peoples out there. What you got, Ego? I don't want to keep talking.
No, man. I'm admiring the new overlay that we've got going on with the new background. Everything looks nice. We finally got our logo up in the corner over here now, so we're looking legit. Everything looks fantastic. So I'm out here fanboying on our own content.
Oh my goodness. It's just the beginning, bro. It's just the beginning. We are level 1 RPG wise. We may be at level 5 right now. You know what I'm saying? But we still low level. We ain't even done training yet. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be nice, bro. But anyway.
Yeah. So I mean, over the last few weeks of the time that we were branding and getting everything set up, Mr. Abomination AG made a fantastic first purchase. Sir, why don't you tell us about the purchase and what was going on with that?
Oh my goodness! So I bought me a gun, a firearm. Specifically, it was sadly I don't even remember the name of it, but it was a shotgun. It's a 12 gauge shotgun.
Okay.
Shit, I would look right now, but I don't remember the name. But you know what? I remember how to use that thing. All right, and my accuracy getting nice. All right, as y'all gonna see on the video, I'm still working on that. But we gonna have that for y'all sooner rather than later. To see us actually using that thing in action. But yeah, I bought me a shotgun because I have the pistol already. And I'm trying to build my my load out. Okay. And then the shotgun was next on the list. Dual purpose. So home defense as well as hunting, which hunting is what got me into the guns. And then, I found you. And then here we are on this path of exercising our rights. It's been nice. It's been fun being all tactical and prepared, so to speak. But yeah, what you want to ask me about that, man?
No, I was going to say, I know that people will say, I went out and they purchased a firearm, but I know that's not nearly as simple as that. So, what was the process that you had to do to actually legally purchase the firearm?
So the process, so I went into the spot. Do we shout them out?
You might as
on the
well, man, because we're there at their video on the shooting range, so we might as well shout them out.
All right, well, shout out to Nardis, however you pronounce it. But it's wonderful experience there. Welcoming knowledgeable people. It's a rewarding experience every time I go in, and these people putting me on some more knowledge. So yeah, I go into the shop and they're like, "Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?" And I'm like, "Man, you know what? I'm looking to purchase my first weapon." And they're like, "Well, we glad you came. What are you interested in? You know, what you been looking at?" And I was like, "Well, I'm looking at a few things, but I really just wanted to see what was in stock, you know, and then kind of go from there based off of the research that I've acquired or done." So I look at a bunch of stuff. I'm broke as shit. So, you know, a lot of it was out of my price range, but I found something that I could work with, which was my shotgun. Um, and yeah, so I told the guy, I said, I want that one. Well, yeah, I asked him a bunch of questions. I don't want to make this too long and boring. And
Not
so,
good.
you know, I asked about this one, I asked about that one. He gave me his response. You know, pros and cons to every gun. So I landed on that one because it was definitely affordable, but nice, you know, what would say reliable gun. And yeah, so he was, you know, he was like, all right, we gotta do the paperwork, do your background check, and then once everything is clear, you're good to go.
All right.
You
How
got to
was it? How was it actually filling out that form? Was it like tough to do, simple? Did they help you out with that, or?
he gave me instructions. If I was a retard, then I could have been lost. But just being real, just being honest. But nah, it was kind of like some standard paperwork every time you do a background check, you know. They asked, I guess, some more in-depth questions about, I'm gonna say, some mental health type stuff. As far as asking more questions about previous criminal history, yada yada yada. Then you know I made it sound good on paper, but it doesn't stop there. They have to run your numbers, you know, your social security, my ID didn't even have my current address. So he was like, all right, well, make sure you write that out for me and we'll get that changed. So they even was like, you know what, we even
Oh,
gonna give
nice.
you a new updated license with shit on it. So yeah, and because I'm not wilding out here and a respectable young black man right here, unlike what you see on the media and motherfuckers out there wilding, my shit came back clean. So they was
All
like, all
right.
right, Mr. Jones, here you go. Got yourself a brand new shotgun. And I was like, oh, it's so precious. Let me hold it. Just let me hold it. And then I held that thing and I was like, um, well, actually, so going back a little bit,
Mhm.
as I was doing the information and he was running the background check, the other guy, I was like, well, you know, I've researched this thing, but I've never actually been hands-on with it. So he gave me a crash course on like the fucking shotgun, and I was like, okay, cool, I got it. And then that's when you came, because you was late as fuck, so you wasn't there.
Traffic, man. Traffic. You know how
So
35 is.
yeah, I don't. I know how traffic here is, period, but I got you.
Yeah.
I'm saying I don't know 35 because don't tell
I
me
know. I know.
bunches of
It's
lanes and all
people
that.
that live out here. Traffic is horrible on 35. Go
Yeah.
ahead, though.
But I mean, you stay at home, don't got to deal with that shit. So yeah, you came up there, and then at that point, I had already bought it. They was doing, you know, the background stuff, and then we, I guess, went and tested them things out, and so we went to the range on your dime, my guy.
It was worth it. I'm not gonna lie. That was worth it.
Oh yeah, most definitely. So you know, you shot that thing too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
that was actually the coolest part about it too. Is I'd never shot a shotgun up until that point. You know, handguns, other pistols, rifles, of course, but never a shotgun. That is a completely different feeling. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
I think it's a Stevens shotgun, if I'm not mistaken.
Stevens. All right, we'll definitely have to put that in the timestamp that we figured out the actual make and models of the
Uh,
shotgun now.
I mean, we ain't got to. Just know it's a motherfucking 12 gauge shotgun. The motherfucker was around 200. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Stevens. But yeah, man, I've been pleased with this so far. Uh, Dual purpose because, like I said, I really wanted to get watching Steven Ranella, which I'm sure you still ain't watched, but Meat Eater on Netflix. Was
Soon, man, soon.
I was getting to see that lifestyle because unfortunately media depicts these conservative hunters as fucking rednecks and shit. So I got to see a respectable image or representative of that group of,
Okay.
like, the conservative hunters, and he was teaching me about how much they do for the environment, and how much all this money that goes into the hunting and all this type of stuff. Like, people spending a whole lot of money on opportunities to hunt animals but don't even get them because they gotta, like, it's like a lottery type thing, so they ain't just
Oh
out here
wow.
wild and just shooting everything for the most part. um
Okay.
and somehow, like, these people actually preserve the land. And as you know, that's what I'm all about, being all natural, being one with nature and God. And you know what I'm saying? And enjoying that and getting the living off the land. That's what I'm trying to
Okay.
get my
Yeah.
lifestyle, like, move towards. So yeah, that's what I was like, you know what? I want to go hunting, but to do that, I gotta get the bow and arrow or the gun. And I feel like, with the guns, I can go in and defend my home at the same time. So let's go for it.
Word. I
All
like
right,
it, man.
man. Yeah, so that's what happened. I've been rambling. I've been talking for a long time.
No, I mean, I guess the other thing I wanted to ask too is, I guess when we first met, you didn't really know as much about firearms, kind of context of, using them, working with them, paperwork and things like that, and in the last, 2 months, you've gone through a full crash course. So is
Yeah.
anything changing your perspective or thinking from then till now?
Um, yes, in a way.
Mm.
Shout out to Maru the Chan. I appreciate you watching the stream. Changing my perspective, or like I said on previous episodes or whatever, I had like a fear for guns, so to speak.
Okay.
Growing up in the hood, you hear the gunshots, you see niggas dying and all that type of stuff on the news and whatnot. So it's like, okay, guns are bad. You hear the stories about people's kids getting the guns and things happening. So I was just like, guns are bad. I still believe humans should not have this firepower, okay, but that's how I feel about metal and just technology, period. Like,
Okay.
once we discovered that, we was doomed from then. But anyway, so yeah, I had a fear, so to speak, of guns, and anytime somebody had one, I was just like, shit can happen. Which it can, if the gun is not respected and the people are not handling them properly. But I would say I'm more comfortable around them now. I'm only in situations to where people are respecting the guns, the weapon, and who are knowledgeable and know these rules on how to properly use them and be around people using them, as well as, again, like, getting my accuracy up, so better handling of them technically, as far as like us cleaning the guns, which we'll figure out at what point we got to clean this shotgun because that thing was
Yeah.
smoking. um but yes, that has been my perspective on guns. I've always knew that you could to go buy one, you need
Hmm.
a background check. So I knew niggas weren't just getting them. I take that back. I knew people, the average person, wasn't just getting them so easily.
Okay.
But I do know that I'm just gonna say guns will circulate. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are checks and balances so that any deranged motherfucker can't just pick up a gun and start doing stuff with it. But guns don't kill people. People kill people. So can't blame the weapon. We got to blame the people who actually commit these acts. Because if the motherfucker don't get his hand on the gun, he might just pick up a fucking knife or a broken bottle or something and start his spree. But anyway,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's why I wanted to see what it was like for someone, taking the journey. I know what my journey was like when the pandemic started, but it's always interesting to see someone else's perspective, especially when they have, attitudes about guns like you had. It's like, well, I know that things can happen, but what is it like if I actually, in full faith, go into the Second Amendment and figure out what that's like? So, I mean, just for technical reasons, the form that Abomination AG had to fill out was a form 4473. That's the actual background check that's run on every firearms purchase. So parts of the questions they'll ask you are, do you have a criminal history, a criminal record? Have you ever been rendered mentally unfit or institutionalized at any one point? Is the person that's actually purchasing the firearm the one that's completing the background check, because it's illegal to purchase a firearm strictly for someone else that has a record. It's a straw man purchase, and you will go to jail if they catch you for that. So I think the main thing also to note is that when you hear the media or when you hear politicians say things like universal background checks or the gun show loophole, well, number one, Abomination AJ just actually did the background check that they're trying to talk about. So when they say we need universal background checks, well, technically we already have background checks. Every firearm that you purchase has to go through a 4473 form. They have to have that record that you actually took that background check before the firearm was even purchased. On top of that, when they say things like the gun show loophole, essentially gun shows are like Comic Cons for gun enthusiasts. You know, you will have different manufacturers of firearms or different gun shops that will bring a select few rifles and handguns or shotguns, and they'll have them displayed out. You talk to them about what you're interested in, just like what you did at Nardis. You choose a firearm you want, and before you complete that purchase, you actually still have to do a 4473 form. So there isn't a gun show loophole that they keep explaining to you. So it's important to know that once you actually go through the purpose of getting a firearm, you know what that process looks like, instead of someone just telling you that, you know, what you thought people were just running around picking up guns out of trunks that are being sold out of trunks like that. You know, that's actually illegal anyway. And if it's used in the purpose of a crime, the person that sold the gun goes to jail too. So, you know, it's just important to know that for the technical aspects of going through the Second Amendment, you know what the process is like, so that you're not fooled by someone just throwing out terms that in actuality have no meaning because they're already being done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, you know, also during our time away from the broadcast, we saw the Northman. So
we did.
Given our take on that. So, sir, what was your take and then thoughts and impressions on the Northman?
I'm gonna let you go first because you saw it twice.
I did. I'm not gonna lie. Yes, I saw it with Shiro on one day, and then the next time I was like, I don't mind seeing it again. Let's go see it again. All right. So essentially, with the movie background, it's based in Norse mythology, and I actually appreciated the Northman because I've actually read Neil Gaiman's story on Norse mythology, so it had a lot of parallels and references to that. So basically, it's about Prince Amleth. His father is King Arvindil, or the War Raven, and he's actually murdered by his brother Filnir. And so Amleth basically flees the island where they live near Iceland, and basically says the line in the preview, you know, I will avenge you, father. I will kill you, Filnir. I will save you, mother.
So spoilers.
Oh no, I'm not giving spoilers. I will give you everything that's in the trailer. Okay. I'll give you references without giving you the full scope of what happened.
Okay.
That's basically as far as backstory. That's how it goes. You know, they show the scene where he's a grown man now and he's out for vengeance. I will leave it to people to go see the movie. It was well worth the watch, and I actually think it might be on demand if you don't feel like going to the movie theater. I mean, what I appreciate about the movie, it had a very simplistic plot. You know, there's a slight twist about 3/4 into the movie. I won't give that away at all. But I mean, it gives you further perspective on the plot that they gave you. I like the fact that it was historically accurate. I guess the family that's royalty actually would speak Old Norwegian when they were doing the sacrifices and the anything that would involve just religious aspects or sacrifices. They spoke Old Norwegian, and the people that they actually conquered were slaves, and so they spoke the slave language, and they said it was Slavic, which is very accurate because Slav means slave. So they kept with the actual historical accuracy with that. The other thing I liked was all the references to Norse mythology. They talked about Odin, why he actually gave up his eye. They talked about the Valkyrie and showing how she takes the dead, which is going to be to Valhalla, when they actually die in battle, and it's righteous. And I also really, really, really appreciate the fact that it didn't necessarily have an agenda of the movie, but they actually told you the strengths of both a man and a woman. It is not necessarily a spoiler of sorts, but the best line to me of the entire movie was when one of the slaves tells Amleth, "You can break men's bones, but I can. A woman will break a man's mind." And if you if you married, been in a relationship, dealt with women, whatever, or even dealt with men, you know that those two aspects are very accurate. So
Mm-hmm.
without having to have an agenda, they told a specific timepiece story that has a backing in Norse mythology, and said, hey, men can do this, women can do this, and they're both necessary, either when you want to conquer and have a kingdom, or you want to keep one. So it was great in doing all of that, with making it like an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes. So I really, really, really enjoyed it. So if there's a third viewing that comes up, if I'm watching it at home, I'm probably gonna do that again. What were your thoughts?
All right, so out the gate, I'm not gonna say I loved it. I enjoyed
Mm,
it.
okay.
Okay. And that's like under loved it for different reasons. Because the story for the first up until that 3/4 mark that you was talking
Yeah.
about, I was watching
Hmm.
The Lion King, a more
Right.
mature human version of The Lion King, which I'm
Okay.
not mad at, because it was like it helped me to follow a story. Which I guess anyway. Um I like the mythological aspect of it. Um, Using the so like you were saying, the mention of Odin, and when I saw the crows, I was like, okay,
Hmm.
those are like messengers, or the seers
Right.
of Odin. So like seeing the little the Nordic elements of religion in there, I appreciated, because I wasn't just looking at a man on a journey. I was looking at a man that had a religious influence. So it was like the story
Okay.
can be even more expanded on. We can do more things with this story, which the movie did. I compared this movie to a game, a video game, because you had your main character, you was on a quest.
Okay.
So you had your objectives, or more so like checkpoints, or like settings that you move into as the story progresses, as well as like Ghost of Tsushima, for example, where you have the foxes and the monkeys leading you to different things like shrines or places on your journey. Um, things that you can use on your journey. So just seeing, just like the crows, seeing the gods, or like their spiritual aspect, talk to our hero, made me feel I was watching in a modern day depiction of an old epic. Not a modern day, you
Okay.
get what I'm saying, a modern
Yeah.
movie of an old epic, but not in modern times. But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. Uh, I like what you said about showing the man and the woman, the strengths as well as weaknesses of them both, and showing how they complete each other, and together you have
Yeah.
a unit that's prepared to take on anything. Um, Not to be a furry, but all the wolf shit that they was doing, and yeah,
You love that. I know you love that scene.
I loved it. It
Yeah.
was even too much for me,
Okay.
but nonetheless, I was like, I like what they doing. Yeah, I'm just gonna say I like what they was doing. For
Okay.
That's what I mean by like that link with God and nature. To see an
Okay.
animal, and to kind of find out like the best traits or aspects of that animal, and try to implement those into like for humans to implement those, because we forget that we
Mhm.
fucking animals and still
Sure.
are primitive in a way. To see a culture of people do that, I appreciate it.
Okay.
Uh yeah, like I said, it was too much at sometimes, but I was like, you know what? I love the passion here. And I believed, from what I saw, not just the main characters, the people around them, I believed that they believed. Like, we're
Yeah.
looking at
Yeah.
actors, but they put themselves in that story for
Okay.
real. So
Okay.
so yeah, like with the story itself, but even with the dog shit, I was like, that's dedication. When you got
Yeah.
niggas on all fours and you know what I'm saying, eating off the ground and doing weird shit like that for their wolf nature. That's why I was like, I fucks with the effort. It was just weird to see on screen, especially especially with half naked dudes. I was like, you know, do I like this? What's going on?
Got to travel light in battle.
Exactly. But yeah, especially with the dude and his son and seeing that whole thing is like
Mhm.
that was beautiful, man. Father son relationship, family relationship, duty to the family. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like how that good spiritual and family foundation in you can set you up for success later on. You know, train the child up in the way that in the way that he shall go. You know, and he won't
Mhm.
stray too far. I was like all that. I was loving all that, man. It was so yeah. Those are my thoughts on the movie.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. If you were ever on the fence about it, go see it. It was fantastic. To Abomination AJ's point, it was almost like it was kind of like Lion King, even though like Lion King is really Hamlet. So you could say it's
Yeah.
the Lion King and Hamlet mixed with Guy Ritchie's version of King Arthur. So I mean, it's it's very very well much worth the watch.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right. Sue is
Well,
for. Go ahead. Go
I'm
ahead. What you
say,
got?
well, I guess to speaking on the Northman and the all the wolf shit, we could talk
Yeah.
about the you know why I envied the movie. My
Go on.
issues with it. Not the movie per se,
Mm-hmm.
but okay, so this is to the audience right now. I envy this movie because these white folks was able to just tell a story and include religion, even ancient religion, in their story. You know, a story about their roots. I admire that. I love that. I envy that. I'm jealous because I don't see that from black folks. Okay, I would love to see a movie about some people with darker brown skin people that you know we see in different religions and different aspects of culture. This whole representation thing that folks want to talk about, I don't want to see that shit forced. Don't give me the sloppy seconds of a fucking white person. Don't give me Captain America it turned Falcon or Falcon turned Captain. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to see that weird shit. I want to see a real black dude come up as himself and be there and be respected and be dope. And that's what this movie was. It was just a story about culture, about roots, about real life, and what those people had to go through to win, to come up. You know what I'm saying? To keep what they had or to get it back if they lost it. And I need to see that from black folks. We had that movie, Gods of Egypt came out.
That was terrible.
Pale skin everywhere. I didn't even see it. I saw them people and I was like, hell no, I'm not seeing that movie. I'm not, nah. So yeah, man, that's what I mean. I want to see black folks out here doing it. You know, I got a story in the works. We gonna make it
Mhm.
happen. But to that point, I am going to because we were talking about Kevin. I think his name is pronounced Grievous.
Okay.
I heard him correct the dude on the stream, and he said that, which I was like, damn, bro, you got this real ass look to you. Then you got the voice, and now your name is Grievous. That shit sound real as fuck. Like this dude can't be real, but he is, and he black, and he make comic books and some more shit. But anyway,
Mhm.
um, he
Oh, real quick. I was gonna say real quick. People that know, it's Kevin Grievous is the he was the Lycan in Underworld. Was the bald big black guy. So
yeah,
that's who he's talking. That's who Abomination is talking about.
and he do that voice on like he voice acts in other shit as well.
Oh,
He made
nice.
comics, so he made Blue Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote some different shit for Marvel.
I think
I
he had
think
Vampirella as well. I think at one point.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. I think it's go ahead. Go ahead.
But yeah, he works on comics. So yeah, man, he why did I bring him up?
Because he's actually doing the comic stuff that you're talking about, making the stories that you're talking about.
Well, he did the underworld stuff, and that was
Mm-hmm.
a mythical supernatural type story. Um and I think he has a comic book of that, like a short comic or something. But anyway, this
Okay.
dude I found this guy in my search for mythical like comic books and whatnot. Uh And yeah, he did it with the vampires versus the werewolves, a Lycan story. um, which gave them some shine. But for the most part, people just been on. You know what? Anyway, I feel like I'm going into my own. I'm going into too much right now. All right, so I don't
Yeah,
want to go
it's
into all that. We gotta, we're gonna work on what we're working on, and it's happening. So anyway, I envy this movie, but at the end of the day, I don't think I'm going to get what I'm looking for. So it's up to I just got to make it, bro. I just got to make it. We start that new wave of creatives. This renaissance needs to come about. Yeah, because
okay.
I'm tired of getting the sloppy seconds of white people with their characters and they just slapping blackface on them. I call that chitlins. I don't eat chitlins in real life. I'm not doing that shit in
Mm-mm.
media form either. So yeah, I want to. Growing up, I didn't see a lot of black characters. I
Mm.
saw them, but I didn't love any of them.
Really?
Really, yeah.
Okay.
But my thinking wasn't I want to see the characters that I love turn black. It was I
Okay.
want to see black characters with these people. You know what I'm saying? More than the sprinkles of them that I did see. Which,
Okay.
people love them. I'm not saying they're not great characters. The John Stewarts, the fucking Statics, the Black Panthers and Icon, Blue Marvel. You know what I'm saying? I know they out there. I know they are, but I didn't love any of them.
Okay.
So I want to see some black characters that I can love, and you get what I'm saying? That's gonna be
I
respected and it's gonna be seen as, hey, that he one of the greats.
I mean, I would say it might be a little bit different just because of our a little bit of our age gap. Because like I'm
Mhm.
technically mid '80s, so around the '80s is when you had black people, and it was usually you'd be on screen. You didn't have to lead the group, but when you watch Star Trek: The Next Generation, I love
Mhm.
Geordi LaForge. Geordi was a space engineer. So every time something was going wrong in the I guess in the engine room, they would say, "Hey, Jordy, what's going on?" Jordy would say, "Captain, we've got, we're down here. We have to, you need to go to Shield Red Alert. We got to get everything set up." He even would take command of the floor when what's his name? Picard and Riker were out. He was technically third in command. You also had Worf, the Black Cleon. So I mean, for me, in seeing all those shows, you usually would see the black guy in the group. When you had Power Rangers, you had what was the other one? The Planeteers. So like that mid '80s to mid '90s, there were always was the black guy in the group. I think
Mhm.
what I think for a lot of people, what changed is they were saying, "Well, no, the black guy has to be the leader," and it's
Yeah.
like, "Well, why?" But you didn't really qualify why. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They would always say he has to do this, he has to do this. Like I was okay with the black guy being the smartest one in the group.
Mhm.
He was always the man that had a plan. It's like, well, hey, how do we get from A to B? Well, you'd have the black guy that happened to be the one that did all the transportation and logistics, or he had a specific knowledge base that the whole group could depend on. So for me, I can understand that you would want to see more black original characters in the space in general, and not just having a race swapped character. It's just that for go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I did see. I'm not even gonna say that was tokenized characters because I've seen
Right.
definitely with Power Rangers and all the shit that we
Right.
watch. If it was a
Right.
team, they had fucking diversity. You had a fucking
Right.
black, a Asian. You might have two whites, and then you'll
Mhm.
have somebody else like an Indian or something. But I'm very familiar with the representation
Right.
that way, which I wasn't mad at. I felt like that was really them trying to be legit and true
Right.
representation. But when like I was saying with the superheroes, like I didn't I want to see more black characters that, like, I guess, like blue marbles, you know what I'm saying,
Okay.
who are seen any okay, I'll say this. Think of the top like five superheroes from Marvel or DC, and I don't think a black dude will show up based
Uh,
off of popularity. Not saying powers, because niggas can make
oh,
dudes power. Because I'm like DC off the top. I think of the Trinity,
yeah.
all of them white.
So
And
I would say this.
okay,
It depends on what you're looking at in terms of ethnicity, because Superman's actually supposed to be Jewish, like he's Jesus. Like that, the guys that created him were Jewish. Like
yeah,
technically, a lot of the characters that were comic book characters for the train, like Jewish guys made them. So I know that the creators of Superman wanted so for some people that are Jewish, they didn't really accept the viability of Jesus because from Old Testament writings, he was supposed to be, eyes like fire, cloak dipped in blood, coming to pass judgment and to rule. And
mm-hmm.
instead, they have Jesus, and they're like, well, that's not who we were told would be the one to save us all.
They
So
said,
the
"Get this
guys that
little
actually,
boy out of here, man.
right,
The
so they
skinny
actually
man out of here, bro."
exactly. So I mean, so they created Superman. Like that was them saying, "This is the Jesus that we thought we were going to be given when he told us the birth of Christ was." So basically, Superman space Jesus. That's why his eyes glow red and shoot fire. His cape is red. So I would say that technically, I would say Superman's kind of a Jewish superhero that they made American. Do you know what I'm saying? So for plus, it's like, well, if you're going by the majority, and these characters have 80 years of history. Green Lantern, John Stewart's Green Lantern wasn't even introduced until like maybe like 1970, 1971. So I mean, if you're going by numbers and the majority of America at the time that it was written, it's going to be representative of the majority. Yeah, I mean, like we didn't really
I,
get our own black
I feel you.
characters.
I
Yeah.
feel you. I'm not mad at that because
Okay.
that's representation. I'm
Right.
saying now we at a point to where I needs to see black characters who are known, who are a part of American culture just as well as Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. I'll say fucking Wolverine because as a kid, every kid was like, look at Wolverine, and they would say X-Men, X-Men. So he was like the face of fucking the X-Men, Spider-Man, you know what I'm saying? Hulks, every real amazing American culture superhero is white.
How long are you willing to wait to get one black character? Because again, all characters you reference are 60 years old at least. You see what I'm
I
saying?
I feel you. That's why I said this. It is time. Either the ones who we already have, who are established, will get bumped up there, will get up there. Original black characters. Now niggas turn black, or with this renaissance that's coming about, I think we will see more independent
Okay.
original characters that America will embrace. Probably the whole
Okay.
world. I'm sure the whole world loves these characters, of course, with time. But bro, like I'm saying, like my superheroes, think of the Incredible Hulk, skinny dude, smart, but then his anger and all that, and he get big and he all strong and all that type of shit. What
Mm.
other what's a black powerhouse that we have? Um
Uh, Luke Cage.
okay, I hate that you said that. Luke
I
Cage is
know, but
not
that was
one
as
of the
close as I
strong.
could get.
That's what I
I know.
mean. That's what
That's
I
as close as
mean.
I get.
Luke Cage is only effective in the hood. I'm sure some nigga that read Luke Cage gonna tell me different, but he's not even super strong, is he? I know he's stronger, but he's
Hmm.
not like, again, he's not one of the strongest people, and he has durable skin. That shit's only effective in the hood if you're getting shot at. Cause he's not fucking unbreakable, or you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like he's Superman fucking dense. Every, that's what I mean, bro. That's all I'm saying. Like,
Okay.
we don't have any fucking amazing Omega level black characters that stand shoulder to shoulder
I would say
with
this
the
though.
characters.
I would say this. I would almost have a problem with anyone making a black character that's OP overnight. You see what I'm
I
saying?
I understand that. That's why I
Okay.
said the characters that we already have would have to get up to that point. Like you were saying, the characters that I mentioned have
Okay.
years on these black characters. I understand
Okay.
because of the times, but that means in the next decade or so,
Hmm.
there should be a rise in black superheroes, but legitimately. not fucking Miles Morales being pushed in our faces
Okay.
or Sam Wilson.
Okay. So
Like
then, all
there's
right. So
no like
go
there's
ahead.
no reason that Falcon,
Mm-hmm.
especially by him having an appearance in the MCU. My first introduction to Falcon actually was as a kid. I was watching Superhero Squad,
Okay.
and he was one of the characters on the squad. This is before the MCU. This was all the woke shit. So I saw original Black Falcon on a squad, and I was like, okay, who is this character? So then I started becoming more invested in checking him out. So there's no reason that the world aren't embracing Falcon as himself, especially by him having an appearance in the MCU. If the MCU would have done what they should have done and kept, you know what I'm saying, like, yeah, I just feel like that would have been one character, for instance, who could have got boosted up. I'm not gonna say War Machine because he's tokenized fucking Iron Man.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely Falcon. Black Panther has always been, you
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say
Yeah.
always, but he's already one of those prominent characters that, you know, he's part of the Illuminati. He's one of them niggas that stand shoulder to shoulder with these white guys I mentioned, but he's not my favorite character.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
I do. I guess sometimes it winds up being where's the line, because if there are original black characters, right? Like I would
Mm-hmm.
say, like for instance, Naomi, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't stand Brian Michael Bendis, right? But he adopted two black girls, and so that's the reason why you got Miles Morales, and now you have Naomi, right? So he made this character pretty much. He's got the same almost power set as Superman, right? And they're
Mm-hmm.
saying that at to a certain point she can almost go toe to toe with Superman, right? So it's trying to give you a character that stands kind of toe to toe in a specific regard to the Trinity, right? But would you say that is that something you'd want, or something you're saying, well, how are we saying that she's new and she's the bestest at everything and she's able to go toe to toe so fast?
No, because that's a character who didn't have the time. Again, that's
Okay.
why I said the characters who we already have that are black. Again, Black Panther is my example. He had time.
Okay.
Then we ended up seeing him in the fucking Illuminati. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? I'm like, we could
Okay.
have seen Falcon, bro. If the world would have continued from the fucking 90s where shit was amazing and everybody loved everybody regardless of everything, we would have seen a major Falcon resurgence. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like I said, bro, why don't we have original Falcon as opposed to a Miles Morales or Captain Falcon or whatever he is? They
Because
want to
we didn't make,
claim,
I would say because we didn't make those characters. You know, that's the other issue. We didn't make those characters.
okay, okay, like how
And
Christopher Priest,
okay, I,
took over Black Panther at a
okay,
certain point. I need some, not no SJWs. I need some real black people trying to make some comics to take over these black characters and make them great. I'm not saying exactly like a Blue Marvel where he was just instantly wrote to be better than them. I'm saying
okay,
take over their stories and let's grow with these characters alongside the MCU that we didn't get, but that's dead. So I'm not talking about
okay.
that.
Well, I mean, would it matter then if you saw one of your black characters that has had time, like let's say, just say John Stewart, right? And he gets
Mhm,
elevated to almost the Omega level that you're talking about and can go stand shoulder to shoulder, right? Does
mhm.
it matter if the writer or creator for that is white or black? Does it matter?
I'm gonna say it doesn't,
Okay.
but because that would still be that character, it would be the same way like Black Panther, like how all these
Okay.
black people was praising and all that, and I was just like, slow the fuck down. It's made by a white dude. You know what I'm saying? I understand they
Right.
appealing to y'all right now, but that's not truly a win for us. So if I
Okay.
see these black characters, it would bring more attention to them. I would prefer if they would handled by a black person. I'm not saying it has to be though.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? But so like seeing the black character, black kids would be like, ooh, you know what I'm saying? He look like me. That's cool.
Hmm.
It would to go even further for that child or whoever is trying to get into, let's say, comics, want to be an artist to see,
Okay.
damn, it's a black dude doing it. Like I said, bro, I knew it wasn't a lot of black people making this shit that I enjoyed as a kid, which is why I understood why I didn't see more black people on the screen or in the comics. But Yeah, bro. I was just like, I'm gonna make a character, like a fucking,
Yeah,
Boondocks, Hugh and Riley.
that's
Black folks
hilarious.
love that shit.
That was
And
pretty funny.
that's some real, some original characters. It's taken from manga, but it's still taken from a fucking comic art style and
Yeah.
turned into some animation where niggas on screen doing shit. They learning lessons, they fighting at the same time. That's all I'm saying. And then when I said
Okay.
those superheroes stand toe to toe with like Superman and Batman, I said in American culture. I'm not necessarily
Okay.
saying superheroes.
Okay.
I'm just saying like black characters in media, period, who America recognizes as like a Spawn, you know what I'm saying? But don't nobody know he
Yeah.
black because he just a fucking demon thing in a mask. But like that or a Blade, who is still
Okay.
Marvel, but people didn't know that when the movie came out. They just saw
Right.
real nigga vampire, black dude vampire, kicking ass and shit, being all cool and with his exaggerated swagger. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. I got
That's
you,
what
bro.
I'm seeing, bro. I'm on all the mystical shit, like the whole animal shit. I didn't see that from no black characters. I saw with Black Panther, but it was just a suit, and I was like, no. You know what I'm saying? Nightcrawler is my fucking nigga.
Okay. That's fine. That's true. Yeah. That's why I was trying to figure because know that there can be a line sometimes between the character that you want to see and then the way that they're utilized, and then using another character to prove the point. Like
Mhm.
my one of my best friends, favorite superhero, Superman. And so even though he loves Superman, he always hates the fact that for another character to show how powerful they are, they go try to go toe to toe for Superman, or they have one special power that Superman didn't know about that Superman's vulnerable to. And so he's like, if your character is strong, let the strength stand on its own. Don't bring in another character to show how strong and powerful or smarter the other character is. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? With I guess with that, and with us wanting more black characters, but not necessarily. I don't like it when they try to say that, oh, Teen Lantern, has one of the stronger, gauntlets for her instead of having a Green Lantern ring. Like Teen Lantern's like this black girl. I think she's like 12 or 13 or whatever, but she actually jerry rigged a a Green Lantern ring, so it's not technically real. So it's like, how can you say that it's the best and it's technically counterfeit? You get what I
So
mean?
so that's what I mean. I thought about that situation. Like you say John Stewart was one of your favorite characters.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure they SJW'd and OP'd this little teen girl. Why
Yeah,
are we not seeing John Stewart advance as
right.
like the best lantern or some shit?
I,
Um,
I I think he's going by the Emerald Knight now. I think, but I think that's a rehash of something from 20 years ago.
mhm,
That's the other problem I have is they're trying to give him a power set and try to put him up there, but not the effort, but the execution isn't there. If
I
you
got
want to
you.
give him a power set, well, it's going to be hard to give him a power set because everyone else has technically been the embodiment of willpower at some point. So you had Hal Jordan, definitely had the entire willpower, and then Kyle Rayner wound up becoming Ion because he technically had he had the living embodiment of will inside himself.
Mhm.
So to try to do the same thing with John Stewart, number one, is going to be hard because other characters have done it. And even then, if you're trying to do it, don't rehash a name that's already been used.
I feel you, and because I don't know Green Lantern, I just use the comparison of him and her.
Yeah.
By her
Okay.
being a black girl and him being black, I'm like, why are we seeing this new kid be the best
Right.
as opposed to this dude who's already been here? But then,
Yeah.
of course, you would have to put him against the other, lanterns, the Earth, the human lanterns, and was like, okay, is his power? Does it make sense?
So the thing
So
is, I actually part of the reason that I enjoyed the rebirth run of Green Lanterns was because they actually put John Stewart in charge of it
mm,
because he's former military, so he knows organizations. He's an engineer, so his constructs are solid.
mm,
As much as they made Hal Jordan the main Green Lantern for so long, he technically doesn't fit um, as the teamster of the Green Lantern Corps. Do you know what I mean? He's a good representative, but he's always better suited to being more of an explorer in that sense. Do you know what I mean?
mhm.
So with that, you can't have someone that acts as the flyboy in terms of being a pilot. Like his attitude's like a flyboy. He's a maverick. So it's hard to put a Maverick into the fold of a core. So the thing is, they're like, well, hey, let's have, Hal Jordan go off on his adventures all across space. But in terms of who's going to build the Green Lantern Corps, it has to be John Stewart. And so I actually enjoyed that take on John Stewart as a leader. It's basically saying, well, hey, if all things are equal, then we're technically space cops. So we need to have our organization has to be tip top. Everyone needs to have their own sector taken care of, and we need to have everyone come together whenever there's a crisis. So they said that, Stewart's intellect, his constructs, and his leadership were the reason why he was chosen as the leader of the Green Lantern Corps. It didn't necessarily have to be, you can go toe-to-toe with Superman, you can go brain for Batman. It didn't have to be any of that. It's like, well, hey, given what we do as a core, your intellect and leadership are paramount in maintaining the core.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that's why for me, it's like, well, you need to show me something about the character that's going to make me gravitate towards them. For me, for Static Shock, the thing that gravitates towards me is he's still trying to learn about his power set. It's electricity, but he's a smart kid. So he's trying to research and see what his strengths and limitations are. So for me, I guess it's part of what you're going to choose to draw me in to the Black character. That's not just saying I'm Black and I'm strong.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, that's a good discussion on it, though. Who knew we were going to have that on representation and what that's actually like in comics and media.
No, I feel you, man. It's something I'm very interested in, just because I'm not saying there was an issue. Like I said, I felt like we was moving in the correct direction. But that shit's just been kind of flipped with this whole agenda pushing, this whole woke movement. So now I think to correct that, or to get back on track to where we was going, the renaissance is about to happen. And we're about to see, I'm gonna say, more true representation. So all these Black people crying about, loving all this shit in the MCU and, Black Valkyries, but she gay at the same time. Like, I think I'm hearing a lot of people on YouTube, especially in social media, are tired of this shit, and they want to create. Right. So yeah, like I said, not just superheroes, because it's more to comics than just fucking Marvel and DC.
Yeah, but, well, I mean, I was gonna say, I think to your point too, is like we are gonna have that '90s Renaissance that you're talking about, because around this time, from the friends that I have that are older than I am, that are reading comics late '80s and the '90s, they were saying that there's a time where comics were kind of stagnant. The stories weren't that great, so people started looking at independent comics. That's where Spawn really comes from, because it was independent. So to your point, I think with that push for more independent and non-agenda driven comics, you are going to see a lot of creators that are going to be like us, making actual good stories that you're talking about.
Yeah, man, it's happening. I'm waiting on it. It's fun, man. It's exciting, because you see Marvel and DC, and like DC's got some pride shit going on where they gender swapped all of the Titans.
I'm calling that the minority team.
The minority teams, okay.
Minority team.
Okay. Yes. Hey, so that's
the minority team.
That's but that's what we got going on. So there's this thirst for good media, and yeah, man, it's happening. It's coming. It's funny to watch this shit die. I thought Disney. I remember making this, like, having this thought to my head. I was like, Disney is forever. Disney is here to stay. Disney can't be stopped. And no, they dying. They fucking up. Yep. And people's getting tired. People getting tired of Disney.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with what Young Ripper said. DC stands for dead comics. And in terms of Marvel, it's a marvel that you're still in business with the trash you've been making lately. So.
I'm ready for that point to where Abomination AJ puts out some that some similar to Lion King as far as like a cultural hit, and Disney put out a movie, and then you see my shit just completely to destroy them at the box office type of shit. That's what I'm ready for. That's what I'm waiting on.
Well, I was gonna say, did you know that they stole parts of the Lion King from, I think it was a movie called Akita, I think.
Kimba, the white lion.
Oh, that one, yeah, okay, yeah, Kimba, yes, yeah. Okay. So you even know like that, it's like to an extent like that, even as originals they wanted to make it with the animation style, but Okay,
Yeah,
at least so you know. Okay.
yeah. That was amazing.
Okay.
Bro, Lion King is my favorite movie of all time. There's nothing you can tell me.
Okay. All
I
right.
had a teacher tell me that movie racist as hell because the hyenas. She said because of the hyenas were was black, Mexican, and a fucking handicap,
Huh?
and
Wow.
and because Scar had dark skin, he was the villain. And I was like, lady, I don't care what you say. That movie is still fucking pure and magical to me. And I love that shit. James Earl Jones was fucking Mufasa. Mufasa,
That's
one of the
fair.
realest fathers I've seen on screen.
That's
You know
fair.
what? That's what I think we need. I think we need a movie, and it probably won't be made by Disney. That's why I said I'm gonna make the next Lion King hit, cultural
Mhm.
hit. We need a movie about animals that don't walk and talk. I ain't talking about Zootopia. I'm talking about some motherfucking animals that just walking around on all fours,
Mhm.
and we see a good story, like a Balto. Have you seen Balto?
Yeah, I love Balto.
That's what I mean, bro. We just need a good story of some animals. That way, we ain't got to really be paying attention to all this color and representation. And not fuck all that. I want some good entertainment. I ain't
Okay.
gonna say I need it like a crackhead or nothing, but it
He's
would be
getting
much
there
appreciated.
though. You getting there. I got you. So are we good on all the topics that we got, or do we have one we want to bring up too? Oh yeah, actually, never mind. I got it. The
Okay.
conspiracies. That's the one. Yeah, I almost forgot about that. So I am not sure if people have been hearing about this, but there have been quite a few fires at food factories and plants happening over the last few months. So I actually looked at maybe just a few of the ones that I found maybe that have been happening over the last few months. So we've got February 1st, where it was near Winston-Salem, the Winston Weaver fertilizer plant caught fire. It was like pretty much a total loss at that point. February 22nd, Shearer's food plant in Hermiston, Oregon exploded, and they actually were a manufacturer of both chips and snacks in Oregon, and it wound up having to lay off 400 people. We had April 12th, there was a fire that destroyed a Taylor Forms processing plant in Salinas, California. They're one of the largest distributors of produce and vegetables. You had 2 days after that, there's a plane that crashed into an Idaho potato processing plant. And everyone pretty much finds that Idaho is one of the largest producers of potatoes. And then 5 days after that, there was a fire that destroyed an Azure Standard in Oregon headquarters. And they were actually one of the largest workers with non-GMO and natural foods. And so you're seeing these fires that are happening. And from what I've found, there has been no known cause. There haven't been any deaths, and they've almost always resulted in total loss of the plants that were caught fire or destroyed. And so the issue that I had with that is that I was told that these fires were happening that it should be looked into. And so when you type in on Google these fires with the processing plants, you actually get at least 7 or 8 articles from Snopes, Politico saying, no, it's not a conspiracy theory that this is happening, but they're not letting me decide one way or the other. And all these that I mentioned, they just had the articles on the fire. There wasn't any opinion piece on why it happened or the grand scheme of things. They're just saying, hey, this fire happened. This is what time it happened. It destroyed this kind of processing plant, and no one died, or there were a few injuries. But those should be the main titles that I'm seeing, not all these political pieces saying that it's a conspiracy theory to think otherwise. Because technically, if you're in this town and your processing plant catches fire, that technically would cause a food shortage because there isn't as much food as before the fire occurred. So, with all that, I'm just seeing that. I'm trying to actually say, hey, for the people that are out there, look at what's going on. And so for all that, I say, what are your thoughts on that?
Um, so I was just looking up fires just then because I am
Mm-hmm.
not really knowledgeable of this. I was telling you that I saw a mention of it, but I didn't pay any attention to it. I saw like Bill Gates or rich motherfuckers buying up farmland or some shit.
Right.
So since we talking about conspiracy theories, and then you just connected that little string right there, and Bill Gates, I think he's one of the dudes. What's that shilling for the vaccine and all that type of shit.
Yeah.
I feel like, what I'm saying, these people know something from the government. The government just put us through all this type of shit, to where they made people dependent upon them for life, for survival, for the next
Right.
move. And this will just be another government experiment to see, how much control they can obtain, or how much
Mhm.
unrest the people will go into, until they can, like, come and assume control or whatnot, whatever that looks like. But yeah, so like I said, because the dudes buying up farmland and stuff, if they make food, less available for us. I see folks talking about baby formula shortages and
Yeah.
whatnot. So yeah, then they can control, food that's getting made, getting. Yeah. Hey man, it's the apocalypse. All right,
It is what it
that's
sounded.
all I'm. That's all I'm saying. Okay, you asking me about this, and I'm like, I feel you. I've always been on some conspiracy shit, but I do feel like civilization. I feel like, bro, we in the last days. Everything now is of a point to where man has more control over us, as opposed to the individual being influenced by God, and we doing right by one another. It's gonna be government just telling us what to do, and we're gonna make the wheels turn for them. So that's what's happening. That's what I
Yeah,
think. That's what I think.
yeah, I like that. I think it's because it's I don't see how you can see something is a conspiracy. You know what I mean? Like conspiracy to me is like, well, hey, we get together to make something happen,
Right.
right? And it sounds like governments are getting together and these things are happening. So I don't understand how you're trying to make something that's a conspiracy theory a negative connotation. Because whenever you see law, they're always saying conspiracy to commit. Then we see you using it in the context when it helps you. But if people are saying, well, hey, this looks like it could be the start of something, we should pay attention. Everyone's saying, no, it's not happening. That's false. We fact check it and you're proven wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bro, these folks then said the vaccine was a conspiracy. Now they telling you that motherfucker crazy side effects and it's killed more people than we actually think, and all this type of shit. Telling you that they using y'all as guinea pigs for some further data in the future that they'll release. They said that was a conspiracy, but you know what I'm saying? That's true. I'm not
Yeah.
vaccinated and I'm still alive. I've been healthy. Um,
Exactly.
they people with this whole media shit and this agenda push, and they saying that that's conspiracies. Gays ain't trying to
Right.
rule the world. Maybe they ain't, but the government show letting the shit go down so that we can go crazy enough and hate them to where again they can come in and assume control. All right, civilians, y'all don't know how to handle yourselves no more. We'll take it from here. Go into your little
Exactly.
houses, like go in time
Exactly.
out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what happened. We saw what happened during the lockdowns in China and Australia. And the
Mm-hmm.
only thing
And
for them
still what's happening in China now from what I've
right
seen.
now, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. And you're just like you're trying to make that a full turnaround with how we started the podcast. Is that's also the reason why they'd want to take your guns because no one's going to tell you what to do when you know that you might have a little something on you. But
Mm-hmm.
if you take all of them away, number one, all it means is that criminals will have the upper hand on the actual law abiding citizens. And number two, when the actual government comes in and takes your stuff or tells you to stay in your home, you don't have a way to defend yourself against that kind of tyranny. But we're the conspiracy theorists for thinking that when you're actually seeing what not having self-defense firearms in different countries looks like.
A cat is easier handled when it's declawed.
Wow, sir. Okay. I see you. I see. We end on that one. Okay, all right. We're gonna fade to a puff of smoke now. Okay.
That little meme. God damn.
We're gonna have to end on that, but I can't top that. I can't top that at all.
All right, bro, we're gonna end on that. It's hot as shit in this
That
garage.
too. That too.
All right, it's been fun. Thank y'all people who came in, checked in, listened to this conversation, had this conversation with us. The Heroes No Capes, Ep.7. Ego, you got some thoughts before we leave, bro?
No, just want to say, everyone, we appreciate you guys tuning in today. I know we had a little bit of time off while we got things upgraded. So in the future, be looking out for a special one shot that we did during our break. Kind of takes you through Antoine's purchase of the shotgun, as well as us testing out on the range, and us actually heading into the movie to see the Northman. So look out for that at some point soon, guys. But again, thanks for joining in, and like the video, share, subscribe, the whole bit. Thank you, guys.
All right, I'm gonna end on that note, bro. We out. Peace, people.
We out.